Buddies, welcome back. It's Concert Buddy. Got another edition, an episode of my series for the channel, Record Store Road Trip, where I traverse this great country of ours here in the United States in search of black gold, sweet wax, the hard-to-find records. This is a unique episode because this was both unintentional and unexpected. So grab your Captain Jack Sparrow hat, eye patch, and peg leg. Shout out if you have a peg leg. Because this one takes place on an island. For real. What am I talking about? Cue that lover. Let's go, buddies. Yeah! Now, buddies, I'd be remiss if I got any further in this video without shouting out good friend Jose Moreno Rahn and his record label in Monterrey, Mexico, Aurora Central Records, or it could be Aurora Central Records. I didn't ask the pronunciation. I think I'm right either way. But if you've been paying any attention of late to the channel or various live streams, you know that I recently went to the Austin Record Convention. Jose stayed with me for a couple days and got to meet a lot of great folks from the VC, the vinyl community. But with that, Jose was kind enough to bring me a record, give me a t-shirt, and I wanted to, before I start any of this, wanted to highlight the work he's doing on his label. It's not easy being essentially sounds like a one-man operation. As somebody who's running a vinyl community podcasts, my head is off to you, Jose, because a one-man band isn't always easy.
It sounds complicated, but really it all happens behind the scenes, so it's easy for you.
Go to Bandcamp. I'll put a link below. Check out some of his artists, some of his releases, because Jose is really working hard. And I think, if anything, the community definitely does a great job, for the most part, of highlighting these projects, talking about them, supporting each other, etc., etc. Anyway, looking at you, Jose. Now let's talk about the task at hand, Record Store Road Trip. Didn't even do that right. Record Store Road Trip. I need 4 of them. Anyway, if you've been watching my channel for an extended period of time, you've probably picked up or heard me talk about annually we go to South Carolina for a family trip on Hilton Head Island. And this year was no different. A little bit later in the year, because we had a lot going on. Obviously, we've moved. The Austin Record Show was the week before. A lot of moving parts. All that said, when we take this trip, my intent is not really to go record shopping. Now, has that happened before? Yes. Have I carved out time to go check out record stores in various parts of the Carolinas? Yes. I've seen Noble Records and Lunchbox Records when I flew into Charlotte and came down south one time. I've also made it a point to go to Monster Music and Movies in Charleston, South Carolina. Columbia, South Carolina, been to Papa Jazz Records. And all of these were before the channel, the exception of Monster. So I don't have like cool footage to show you, but we're going to recreate some of this stuff in future episodes, in future years. So stay tuned.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Hilton Head Island, up to recently, did not have a record store, so that kind of inspired or motivated me to go check out these other shops, neighboring towns, neighboring cities. But, holy smokes, what a discovery. This year, just by happenstance, I found out that Hilton Head has its first record store, and that's Mojo's Island Records, started by Josh Duvall. This record store has been in business less than a year. Less than 1 year. So you know what that means, buddies. It could be a great thing or it could be a not great thing. I'm here to tell you it's a great thing. And the story of this shop is very similar to a lot of independent record stores. It's usually started by somebody who's passionate about records, a collector themselves, and Josh is no different. In fact, Josh put up, like a lot of other store owners, put up a lot of his own collection to kind of have starting inventory to open this shop. He has like a day job, and I don't want to get into that kind of stuff. It's his personal business. But this, by his own admission, is kind of part of his retirement plan. What a way to go out, having a record store to do something fun on the way out. very admirable of that. But anyway, found out that this record store is on the island, went to go check it out, and a little trepidation because, you know, again, it can be a hit or miss proposition, especially for a shop so new. You know, sometimes it just depends on how the owner collects and what kind of stuff they want to bring into the shop, because really, let's be honest, the hallmark of any good record store is the inventory it keeps. Good news here, buddies, is that I went in with very low expectations. Again, coming off of Austin, I wasn't really in record mode, but Josh and this store blew me away. And I say that because it's the kind of shop that in another life, in another timeline, maybe I would be running in terms of what's curated. There's stuff that's right in my wheelhouse.
Don't buy any unripe bananas. Yeah, because you won't live to eat them, yeah.
When I walked in, first thing I'm doing, any kind of new record store is finding where the new arrivals are. Let's look at it this way. You go to a restaurant, you want to have the fresh food, right? Record store should be no different, especially, as you know, or maybe you don't know. I feast, cheeseburger style, on used records. That's really the point or the focus of my collecting, is finding used, great shape vinyl, hard to find vinyl, etc. So I'm always looking for the new arrivals, because in a lot of ways that's a good litmus test of any store, because now obviously timing's part of it. So not every shop is going to have this killer stuff every time in the new arrivals, but it's usually a good barometer to set the expectation, set the tempo for what that kind of store visit's going to be. So I went to the new arrivals, and almost immediately I started seeing things I'd never seen before, which is also another great sign. 90s stuffs. I saw Soundgarden record. I saw some metal stuff. And one thing I want to give Josh a great shout out here for is the way he curates and the way he has his shop set up, because he has like a dedicated like new vinyl kind of area off to the side, but everything else is pretty well organized. Jazz, country. He's even got a dedicated metal section. Wall records, plenty of them. Even there are records which I thought I'd looked at everything. When I was getting ready to check out, I kind of hooked a corner by the register. There are even more wall records I'd missed before. So if you visit this shop, keep your eyes open, eyes peeled. But well curated, really cool stuff. A lot of pieces I hadn't seen or hadn't seen in a while. Some things I'd just seen in Austin for the first time were here, which I took as a really, I don't know, unique. It's kind of like if you see a car accident or something new for the first time that's on your radar, and then all of a sudden you start seeing it a lot. I think it was one of those type of moments. But keep in mind, I just came from Austin, and so I really wasn't in that record store, record buying mind. But he had so much heat in this store that I simply could not resist. Before I get further and show you what I got, shout out to Josh. He gave me this nice little koozie, which if you're there on a vacation, you're getting some beach time, this is a great branding option. Just have a nice little koozie, nice little ass on the back. Good call there. Then he gave me a little tote bag, which I don't have for the video, unfortunately. He gave me a couple stickers, which, man, if you don't have store stickers, like you're not doing this right, because people who come from out of town like me, who really want to pimp up or talk up your shop, this has got to be number one in the branding rule book, is have some cool store stickers. Even if they're not cool, just have store stickers. It's not that hard.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Really well curated store. A lot of cool stuff. The metal section was really on point, like things I never see. I've never seen. Probably will never see again. I'm not a super metalhead like some of you guys out there. Love metal, love my bands, Megadeth, Metallica, Pantera, that kind of stuff. But I mean, we're talking like Testament. I mean, there's artists that I know of, but I just am not that ingrained in the genre that well. So I really commend Josh for having metal in its own, because a lot of people have metal mixed in with the rock records, and that can be a little lumpy. But anyway, well organized, and for such a I wouldn't say small, but a decent sized space. He's got like a little sitting area, like a TV. So it's probably a smaller space, but doesn't play small, if that makes sense. All that said, I did come away with some records. Mercy, mercy me. Let me show you what I got right now.
I don't want to come out here and blow my own horn. I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot, toot.
All right, first record I'm going to show comes from that aforementioned record section, and that is Lita Ford, one of the first metal vixens. And this is her album, Out for Blood. As you can see, you've got a nice hype sticker. Oh, daddy. Coming. Look at this. Gold label promo. What's going on? Real happy. I know Lita Ford. I know she did the duet with Ozzy Osbourne. I know of her, but for whatever reason, I never see Lita Ford records anywhere. In my travels, in my locals, whatever. So when I saw this was an instant cop. Well priced, great condition. Had to pick it up. Next record I found at Mojo's Island Records is one I already had a copy of, but this is a little bit different copy. Let me explain. So first, this is from the band Green River. This is on the Sub Pop label. Now, you know I like collecting that 90s wax. Technically, this came out in 1988, but I still had to collect it none the same because this is one of those kind of bands as a precursor to the grunge movement. Plus, it has some heritage ties to Pearl Jam. You have Jeff Ament and Stone Gossard were in this band. When I was up in Seattle a few months ago and was really kind of immersing myself in the history of grunge through some museums we went to and some of the record stores we went to, I started hearing about this record a little bit more commonplace. I even saw it on display at the Pearl Jam Pop Culture Museum exhibit. And then all of a sudden, like I said before, you start seeing it everywhere. So one of my locals had this album, but it came in a green variant, a green vinyl variant. Luck of the draw, I was able to score that one. So this one, not the green variant, this is the black wax version. But in my area, here in the middle of the country, never see this. Outside of, again, I've seen it since my trip twice now. So maybe I'm going to see it a whole lot more. But I know someone out there in the vinyl community, and I'm not going to say who because I don't want to out anybody, but I have a feeling this is going to make a nice trade piece from a good friend out there. So if you're watching this, hit me up because I think you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, I was happy to pull this from Mojo's Island Records. And buddies, the creme de la creme in this record store road trip adventure was the classic hip-hop all-timer. This is De La Soul, 3 Feet and Rising. Now, I have the Vinyl Me Please reissue from years ago, and I know this came back in stock, within the last year. Magenta color, yellow color, had a whole bunch of different variants. There's a lot of the samples and the licensing was tied up in litigation for years with the band and their label. And I guess they found some degree of resolution to that, so that's good news for record collectors anywhere. But let me backtrack just a couple. The week before in Austin, there was a copy of this record that I came dangerously close to throwing some big bucks at. And I guess the way the vinyl universe works, the vinyl gods, I didn't buy that record. I bought some other things, but this record was still on my hit list. And I guess the way it was supposed to work out is how this worked out, because this record that I found at Mojo's Island Records, you ready? WLP, you know what that means? White label promo. Bam. First to first.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
So this is the first of the first. You get that little saw cut, which, again, not cool, but also has like the cartoon original inner sleeve inside. Anyway, again, I'm going to say it again for the folks in the back. White label promo. Bam! And all things considered, I got this at a better, more reasonable price than they had in Austin. And again, not knocking the guy who had it in Austin, because it was very tempting. Because this is hard to find. Not even just the white label promo. Original pressings of this go for some decent money. So it's very, very hard to find. So the fact that literally a week later, something else on my mind, I passed on, literally pops back up, just like that. And it's right in front of me. In this record store trip that I was not planning on taking, I couldn't have written a better script. Super excited to add this one to the collection.
The price is wrong, bitch.
And buddies, that's all she wrote. Tell me what you think of this latest adventure on record store road trip. Look at that. I think that's how I'm going to do it from now on. If you're in the South Carolina area, highly, highly, highly encourage you, especially if you're in the southern part of the state, to check out Mojo's Island Records. My man Josh is a great guy, super cool to talk to. He even hooked me up with a used mailer because, again, I brought my little soft shell record bag just in case, because you never know. But for these premium records, I had to have something a little bit more fortified, a little bit of that corrugate cardboard box. And Josh hooked it up and gave me one of his boxes. So again, shout out to Josh. Check out his store if you're in Hilton Head Island area, Southern South Carolina. You'd be glad you did. But buddies, till next time, thanks for joining me here. And if you've got these records, or you're on a hunt, or you're going to record stores, and you're hopping in your car, you're flying into planes, you're on the boats,
I'll do you in the bottom while you're drinking sangria.
you're on your motorcycles, hell, if you're on one of those motorized scooters, if you're going somewhere to get records, you can empathize with the record store road trip. See, I'm getting it right there.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Let me know about it in the comments below. Until then, buddies, when you get the chance, just spin it. See you soon.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Well, we out of time.